Okay, so today I went to a birthday party and another party, and I did a magic trick for a few groups of people. And the one people is both of their birthdays. They're having a double party. And so this is the trick I did. It was for a guy and a gal. This is what I first had. I asked the girl to say stop. She said stop there. And so she got that card. And then I asked the guy to say stop. And wherever he said stop, he got that card. So um, they have picked the king and the queen. The guy picked the queen, the girl picked the queen, so we let that sink in for a second. And what I'm going to do is take both of these cards. We're going to put them into the middle of the pack. Alright, cut them in. Cut them around a couple times until finally we're all getting kind of bored of the shuffling part. So we're going to go ahead and find the cards in the count of 1, 2, 3. And there is the queen and the king found from the pack. Awesome. So we're going to do it one more time. What we'll do is we'll take them, cut them into the pack again, give the deck a good shuffle. Alright, you can give them a couple more cuts if we want to. And then what we'd like to do is ask them to say stop again. Where they say stop, they can take that card there. Ask them to say stop one more time, and they got that card there. And we wait for that to sink in. They got both of the aces. So what I'm going to do now, take both the aces, ace of hearts, ace of diamonds, and we're actually going to put them in your hands. So hold out a hand like this and a hand like this for each of you. So we're going to take both the aces, and I want you to hold out your hands real flat, and I'll set those there, and then you set your hands on top. And then all we need to do is I have with me in my pocket a magic marker in place of a magic wand. We'll wave over the cards like that, and now both of the cards have actually become the king and the queen. So that's pretty cool. But what I'd like to do is actually something a little extra. Is I want you to hold out your hands one more time. All right, hold out your hands. We'll put the cards sandwiched between them, and on the count of 3, open your hands. 1, 2, 3. They open their hands. And since it was their birthday, I actually got them 2 iTunes gift cards for each of them, and that was the end of the trick. So let's get on to the tutorial. Okay, so the ending to this trick is optional, by the way, but what you need to do is, if you can, start with all these on top, but if you want to start impromptu, what you can do is this. We'll actually stick these into random spots, all 4 of these cards, and I'll mix them around a little bit. So if you need to look up the card locator video, which would teach you how to find these cards from a shuffled pack. But let's just start clean. Alright, and of course if you didn't have the money at the end, that's fine too. But we'll start clean. Somebody asked them to see a card trick, or however you like to ask that. You show them all the cards are different, okay? And what basically you're getting a pinky break above the king, and below the king and above the queen, like so, and cutting to those places. It helps if you've seen the other video. Anyway, and then so you have the king and the queen on top, and you're going to do a shuffle like this to get them both to the bottom, and then you can just shuffle them both to the top again. Great. So now what's going to happen is you're going to ask them to pick a card, and you're going to do a simple break force. You're going to cut the deck, and most people do it like this, and then start. What I like to do is just throw in an extra cut, an extra swing cut or 2, 3, doesn't really matter, but the important part is that you cut and put a break with your pinky, just a little one, right above that spot. Now what you can do is you'll see it makes the pack look a little off. So one thing you can do is sort of bend the cards like this a little bit, and that break won't be as obvious. And then what you're going to do is riffle down. It doesn't matter where they say stop, but you want them to say stop above your break. So they say stop somewhere. Let's say they say stop there. And then what you're going to do is connect the break and go forward. So from the back, looks like this. They said stop there. We're just going to pull forward and go to our spot. Okay, makes sense? We're going to do that. I used a different force, but I don't think I can legally show you that one. If you know how to do it, you can do the other force, what's called The Force by Matthew Abish. Anyway, but the idea is that you force both those cards the same method if you'd like. And then at this point, what I would do is, just leave the pack shuffled. I'm going to take the king and the queen, put them on top, and cut them into the middle. If you want to do this, you can put both of the king and the queen in different spots in the pack like this, and then I go through, push the king in, get a break with my pinky of my right hand, like so. Then I go and I get a break with the pinky of my left hand, and then when I square them up, I get a double pinky break like this. A pinky and a ring finger break. And then once I square them up a little bit, I set that one, that one. What that does is puts the king and the queen on top. Let's try that one more time. Queen, lower half, king, upper half. Here they are. I'm going to put the king in. I'm going to get a pinky break. Put the queen in. Get a pinky break. When I square it up, I switch this pinky for a ring finger. Once it's squared, I start cutting. I can throw in a couple extra cuts here, but I cut to both of my breaks, and if I put one under the king, one over the queen, it'll put them on top and bottom. And then all you need to do is cut. Is either, if you're going to do this, leave those there. Another easier way is to just have them both on top and pretend to cut them into the middle with a break, and then just cut back to your break. That'll also be fine. If you do that, you're going to need to double undercut, or undercut one of these cards. Okay, sending the king to the bottom. Alright, so we have the king and the queen on top and bottom, and then you're just going to throw it, keeping only hold of the top and bottom card, and they will slip out. Practice that a little bit, like that. So, looks like this. And then you found them for the first time. Now at this point, what you're going to do is get a little break underneath two cards. Now I did not do this in my video because I was already set up, but what you're going to do is get a break under two cards and pick up these cards as two. You're going to turn over the king, stick it on the bottom. Remember, you have two random cards. Stick the king on the bottom, then stick the queen next to the king like that. Then you're going to set both of those there and stick both of them into the middle. So you just put two random cards in the middle. You just pick up 4, turn over the queen, square up, turn over the king, and then you have those other two under there, which are the actual ones you stick into the middle. Alright, in they go, doesn't matter. Then, what you're going to do is, if you wanted to do it the other way, what you needed to do is after you found them the first time, you need to say, those are the only king and queen in the deck, and then you can get breaks for your aces, and that'll get the 2 aces there. And when you're cutting to that next one, just turn him over and flip the pack on top. Anyway, so if you want to have them pick aces as well, you can. Actually, when I first did this trick at the party, I was planning on having them pick 2 random cards, which is usually how I do it. So I just had them pick 2 random cards, and in all honesty, they were the 2 aces. They were the 2 red aces by complete accident, and you bet I wasn't going to tell them it was an accident. So these things happen, but they really just should probably pick 2 random cards, which makes the trick easier and really doesn't hurt the plot at all. So you've controlled these to the top. You ask them to pick 2 cards. Let's say they pick these 2, and then what you're going to do is you're going to get a break under 4 again. Do the exact same move. Turn this one over. 2 random cards down there. Square it up and turn this one over and keep it off jogged. And ask them to hold out their hands. You're going to square these up, and then what I like to do is I just turn them over and then I try to hold them the same way I did before. And then you're going to put both of them down in their hands and have them close over. Now, the reason I use the magic pen out of the pocket is very simple. So we have the pen in the pocket. We have our gift card or piece of paper, if there's something extra you want to put in there, in your pocket. So when you pull out the pen, you wave over it, put your pen back in the pocket, and that's when you steal that and put it in your hand. So when they turn it over, that's when I usually put this on the bottom. And there's a couple ways to do this. The way I did it tonight is I just stuck my gift cards on the bottom, and I pushed it down with my fingers, and then I just took the king and the queen like this on the bottom of the deck, and underneath the cover of the deck I just slid it in between and squared them up. So from the top, they didn't realize that added anything, and it looked like this. Okay, then all I'm going to ask them to do is hold out their hands, and I put it in between, and they can grade the card and cover it. So that's the trick.